All right, let's get into it. Sometimes the toughest weather we have to deal with isn't some big, loud storm. It's quieter. Today we're diving into a story that gives us a really gentle kind of wisdom for those internal struggles. It's all about what it calls a fog. One that can just settle in and make everything and everyone feel so far away. And really, the whole story hangs on this one single idea. It's so powerful. This sentence is kind of our anchor here, that constant reminder of the difference between the weather happening in our heads and the actual, solid ground that's right under our feet. So, what is this fog? Well, it's not some huge, dramatic thing. The story describes it as that quiet moment when love has moved to the other side of glass. Think about that. You can see it, right? You know it's there, but you just can't feel its warmth anymore.
And let's be super clear about this. The fog isn't about love disappearing. It's about losing the feeling of love. It's that internal weather that just turns the volume down on everything and makes you start to second-guess the very connections you know you should trust.
Okay, so the story starts on just a normal walk between four friends. But one of them, the mole, who's always paying attention, he notices this little shift. It's not a big cry for help. It's more like a quiet retreat. And he doesn't ask, hey, what's wrong? He just observes. He says, "You've gone small." And the boy's answer is just perfect, isn't it? It captures that feeling of disconnection that I think so many of us have felt. Your body is right there. You're walking, you're breathing, but your spirit, your actual self, feels like it's a million miles away.
And this, right here, this is what's so cruel about the fog. It makes you feel totally isolated. It doesn't just make you feel sad. It makes you doubt the good that is literally walking right beside you. Knowing his friends are there, but not being able to feel that connection, that's the real heartbreak of it.
So, how do his friends react? This is the amazing part. They don't try to fix him. They don't try to cheer him up with a bunch of platitudes. They just keep walking. They match his pace, creating this bubble of quiet, no-pressure companionship. Now, this is where the horse offers up some serious wisdom. The boy says, "I feel broken." And notice, the horse doesn't argue with his feeling. He doesn't say, "No, you don't." Instead, he offers a bigger truth, gently creating a space between the emotion and the reality. And there it is. That's the question the fog always whispers in your ear, right? It's that voice of doubt when you're at your lowest that says, "Yeah, but what if this time the despair is the real thing? What if this time you really are broken?"
Wow. The mole's reply here is just one of the most incredible moments. It's not an argument. It's not a promise that everything will be okay. It's just a simple, rock-solid commitment. Even if your worst fear is true, we're not going anywhere. It's the ultimate promise of presence.
So this brings us to a really central idea in the story. The friends get it. You can't just talk someone out of the fog. So they offer something else. They offer these small, real, tangible proofs of care that don't ask for anything back. And just look at the scale of this gesture. It's not some grand solution. It's not a giant feast. It's one single crumb. Something so small you can accept it without feeling like you owe anyone anything. It's just a tiny piece of reality to hold on to. And here, the mole explains what it's all about. That crumb isn't meant to fix the problem. It's just a gentle little nudge, a reminder of the most basic truth there is. You're alive, and because of that, you deserve care, even if you can't feel it right now.
This is such a brilliant tactic. When that emotional connection feels impossible, the friends help the boy ground himself in what's physically real, the sound of breathing, the feeling of the earth beneath his feet. These are facts. These are things the fog can't argue with.
So the real turning point in the story comes from the most unlikely character, the fox. The one who's always a bit guarded, a bit wounded. He's the one who finally steps up and speaks the fog's language. What the fox does here is so powerful. He validates the boy's entire experience. Just by saying, "I know this fog," he takes this isolating, lonely feeling and makes it a shared one. He puts a name to the lies the fog tells you, and when you name them, they start to lose their power. So when the boy asks the fox how he deals with it, the fox doesn't give him a list of tips or advice. He just describes what his friends do for him. These small proofs, they're the antidote. Simple, unconditional acts of just being there that prove connection is real, even when it feels impossible to believe. And just like the fog rolled in gently, it leaves the exact same way. There's no big miracle, no sudden snap-out-of-it moment. It's just a gradual, quiet return to the world.
like a fist slowly unclenching.
And here we are again. The friends gently circle back to that core lesson one more time. The feeling of being connected might flicker, it might get lost in the fog for a while, but the fact of their connection, that's constant. It's a truth that exists completely outside of the boy's emotional weather.
And this is the boy's big breakthrough. Instead of suffering in silence or trying to fight his way out of the fog, he learns a new skill. He learns to just name it. Simply being able to say, "I'm foggy," is an act of incredible courage, and it changes everything.
And look at how the friend's response changes now. Because the boy was able to name it, they can offer specific kinds of help. They can be his light, his protection, his stability. He doesn't have to find his way out alone anymore. He can let them be his guides.
Which brings us to the ultimate takeaway from this whole beautiful story. It's the one truth that's small enough to carry with you, but strong enough to hold on to when everything else feels like it's slipping away.
So what is it? When your own feelings are screaming at you that you're alone, that you're a burden, that love isn't real, what is the one single fact that can be your anchor in all of that?
And this is it. This is the crucial truth to hold on to. Remember the difference. Your feeling of loneliness is absolutely real, but it is not the final fact. It's just the weather of the moment. And like all weather, it will eventually change. Feeling alone is not proof that you are alone.